Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coach John Runs His Cake Hole, brought to you by the Sports Reclamation Project. I am your friendly neighborhood youth coach, Coach John, and as always, thank you for stopping by. If you cannot tell by the sound of my voice this week, I am exhausted. 7th grade started up, back in the middle school classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, if you unaware of the energy level 7th graders have, you really have to be there to understand. It's a different type of energy. We should be able to bottle it and sell it because it could probably fuel rockets. I'm having a blast, but the kids are tiring. On a personal note, my daughter's volleyball team, if you've been following me, I'm a first-year volleyball coach. First time ever coaching volleyball. Having a blast. The ladies took their first loss this weekend. Game was competitive. Both games were within 2 to 3 points. Mental errors and mistakes down the stretch is what got us. However, we are learning. I am learning. I'm having a blast, and so are the ladies, and that is the purpose of youth sports. Now, let's get into those shameless plugs. If you have not liked and or subscribed to us on social media, you can do so. You can find us on Facebook at the Sports Reclamation Project. You can find us on Instagram at _Sports Reclamation Project. You can find our website, www.sportsreclamationproject.com. On that website, you have access to templates and peer-reviewed research on topics I have covered on this page, as well as our blog that goes in more detail on some of the things I talk about on the podcast. Also, if you would like to support us monetarily through the purchase of merchandise, you have that shop link. Go ahead and click on that shop link. It'll take you to the store. You can buy hats, jackets, hoodies, you name it, we sell it. Not a dime of it goes into my pocket. Not a dime of it goes into the Sports Reclamation Project. It all goes back into a scholarship fund designed to cover registration fees for underprivileged youth athletes. Thinking of a name for that scholarship fund, and I'm really at a loss, but I'll eventually think of a name for it, and we'll pass it on to you. Also, if you are local to the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, and you are interested, stay tuned on the website or on Facebook. I will be doing my annual toy drive / basketball clinic sometime in November, site to be determined. What you will get is a 3-hour basketball skills and drills clinic. The cost is a 2-toy donation with all toys either going to a local church or Toys for Tots. Information pending there. Or a $25 entry fee with all the proceeds going to the same thing. Our goal is with the Sports Reclamation Project is to bring community into what we do. And if community involves teaching the beautiful game of basketball to a group of kids and providing holiday cheer for underprivileged families, that's what we're going to do. Last year, we hosted about 20 kids, and we were very fortunate to team up with a local church and provide a great holiday for some families in need. So stay tuned for that. Also, again, I'd be amiss if I did not mention TrueVictory.com. Founded by first responders and military veterans, True Victory is a sportwear and streetwear brand dedicated to the modern-day athlete. Use promo code RECLAMATION for 15% off your purchase. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this topic. It's a little bit of a different topic, but it stems from a conversation I had 6 or 7 months ago that left me a little bit annoyed. And I wasn't annoyed at the parent, but it left me overall annoyed at the youth sports complex, which is a $40 billion a year industry now. And I wanted to get into it. And the question was, somebody caught me leaving, I believe it was a YMCA basketball game. And we got to talking about basketball. And as you know, I love coaching and developing players from the beginning. They asked me if 5 years old was too late to start their kid playing basketball. 5. An age where some of these kids don't even know how to write their name, and parents are concerned if 5 is too late to start them in a sport. And it really begin to bring up some things. And one of my more frustrating things I hear is when I deal with older kids, middle school or even upper elementary, and the parents say, "I'm sorry, they've never played before. Why are you apologizing to me for giving me a lump of clay that I could mold into a consistent athlete?" But parents have a sense of embarrassment. It almost seems like when they bring their child out late to a sport. So, with that being said, I want to talk about how to handle it when your athlete plays a new sport, or some tips I like to share for parents when your athlete is playing a sport they're not familiar with. The old saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step, and this is helping you, or how I would recommend helping you on your first steps. I mentioned before on this podcast, I'm a proud father. If you follow this page or my podcast for any amount of time, you know my primary sport I coach is basketball. I have dabbled in flag football, and now volleyball and boxing. But my primary sport is basketball. My daughter played one season for me, second grade. My one son played for me as well. But I was never that parent to force a sport on my kids. My rules were fairly simple. When it came to extracurricular activities, you need to be legal. You need to be out of the house learning to work with other people. And no matter what, you could not quit until it was done. Those are my 3 rules. As long as those criteria were met, I would support those. My oldest chose theater. Loved theater, one-act plays, that was their thing. The middle one wrestled. And my daughter, the baby, has a beautiful singing voice and plays volleyball. For informational purposes, I can't act. I mean, I've been told I'm acting like a jackass occasionally, but that's not the point. I don't look good in a wrestling singlet. Sorry, I don't have the body. Volleyball was my older sister's sport. I played pickup ball in college and school, but that was my older sister's game. And local city ordinances forbid me from singing. So long story short, my knowledge of the endeavors my children are taking is minuscule at best. So how am I managing this? Well, so having spent almost or a little bit more than half my life as a coach and on various benches and almost its entirety as a player, I will admit as a parent, it was strange at first to attend a game or a match for my child that I wasn't a part of. I'll also be honest. It is very tempting at times to be that parent, yelling on the sidelines, yelling instructions. Fortunately for me, I did not know enough to do so, but I can assure you it is difficult to keep your mouth shut. We want to see our babies do good. It's hard to do that. However, I've had the privilege of seeing through the eyes of a clueless parent, and here's a few things I've noticed and tips I've picked up that I want to share with you that might help you when you get into the uncharted territory, the sports your kids play that you know nothing about, or the sports your kid is going into that they've never played before. First one I like to always share is learning their sport. When the middle boy decided his freshman year to go out for wrestling, I'm going to admit, most of my knowledge of wrestling was from the WWE. Sadly, the Stone Cold Stunner is not a legal move in high school wrestling, so I had to learn the basic rules and idea of their sport. I never wanted to be that parent cheering, yay, and simultaneously asking the parent next to me if we got points for that. So I had to learn the basic knowledge. It was important for me to know the rules. It was important for not the reasons people assume. I didn't learn the basic rules to coach from the bleachers or drill my son incessantly over strategies or ideas for him to win the world title, which apparently there is no big gold belt in high school wrestling. Imagine my surprise. I learned the rules mainly because I wanted to have a conversation with my son. Learn more about something he chose to spend his time doing. His mother was an amateur wrestler. That was her background, so I had to learn a lot about it. Another thing I can recommend is sit away from other parents. You know the expression, attitudes are contagious. As a coach, parents can be your best friend, your worst enemy. As a fellow parent, they can also easily pull you into drama. Now, I want to believe beyond the shadow of a doubt, most parents are well-intentioned. However, their misguided outlook and expectations can sometimes cause difficulties. It's like, you know, the Seinfeld episode with the baby, where the baby's ugly and everybody's talking about how cute it is. It's a must-lie situation. Sometimes parents are like that when it comes to their child's abilities. Everybody else sees the baby as ugly or the kid is unskilled, but the parents think they're the best thing. Well, when those expectations and outlook come to play, perception can lead to a negative outlook. Negativity and drama will surface after that, and they usually become contagious. If you want to enjoy your athletes' experiences, it's sometimes best to observe them away from those who don't share the same attention. Use discernment when you're dealing with these parents. Also, enjoy it. Keep it in perspective. Listen, our kids grow fast. I've got one in the middle of high school and one that just graduated, and it feels like I was just dropping them off for their first day of school not too long ago. We know life blows by us, or as the great John Lennon said, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. But life happens. And before you know it, there are no more practices or games. The majority of kids play to have fun. There's been studies behind this. And while winning is fun, and it's fun to win, winning is not the be-all, end-all. Not every sports endeavor does not have to end in a scholarship. Every sports endeavor does not have to end in a contract or a title. Sometimes they just want to play. Enjoy the victories. Embrace the defeats. Encourage growth and learning. And most importantly, just be their fan. Learn to love watching them and let them know how much you love watching them. And that's about enough of that. So we are creeping up on the 800 followers. Really wanting us to get to 1,000 followers on our social media. That way I can do that giveaway. Give away some Sports Reclamation Project merchandise. If you have a friend, enemy, colleague, coworker, subordinate, insubordinate, or somebody you just want to annoy by making them listen to me, share this podcast. Share the Facebook page. Share the Instagram page. Check out our website. We're growing. We're growing fast. We have more than doubled our following since I launched this podcast, and I'm ecstatic. Let's keep it going. If there's something you want to reach out and talk to me about, if you want to be a guest on this podcast, if you want me to read a book, plug a book, talk about a book or a topic, you can reach out to me at the Sports Reclamation Project on Facebook, _Sports Reclamation Project on Instagram, or John at sportsreclamationproject.com. Other than that, I'd hate to say that's it, that's all, but I hope you've had a ball. If you are heading to your child's game this weekend, remember, thank the coach, be kind to the referee, and as always, let your kids know you love watching them play. This is John with the Sports Reclamation Project, and we will talk again later.